Hello and welcome to this demo of the Buggy Randomizer. I'll be walking through some pretty intricate examples of the different ways that you can actually use this application. Let's look at some of the inputs so we can get a better understanding of how this actually creates a random schedule. First off, at the top, we have exemptions. For example, if I wasn't going to be able to make it this weekend, I could just add my name here and this would take me out of the schedule for that week while still randomizing the schedule for everyone else. Moving on to the next section, guaranteed. Let's say, for instance, I missed 3 weekends in a row because I was out of town or I had some sort of homework assignment due. Then I might have agreed upon the fact that in the future I would be guaranteed to go to one of these buggies since I was exempt from the past few. If I automatically want to be included in the schedule, or you automatically want to include multiple people in the schedule, let's say we include myself and perhaps some other person in my fraternity such as SpongeBob. SpongeBob and I would be guaranteed to be in the schedule somewhere while the rest of the required positions are decided by the randomizer. Moving on to the next section, we have positions which are pushers, flaggers, videos and timers, bails, barricaders, and backups. Looking over to the right, we have different probabilities by seniority. Since juniors and seniors have potentially busier schedules throughout the semester, they are often assigned slightly lower probabilities than freshmen and sophomores who are more available. The last feature I'd like to talk about here is the select by groups. It's small down at the bottom of the screen, but it is mighty. I am most proud of this feature just because it's a really innovative way of getting people to show up on time and actually be able to enjoy themselves. In terms of functionality, you can just toggle it off and on. It's defaulted to on at this point because our fraternity has found a lot of success in using it. Probability of any individual group being selected is actually the total probability of any one of the members being selected individually as compared to all of the other groups. And then if someone's not assigned into a group, the probability of that group being selected is just the same probability of them being selected individually. Without further ado, let's say, for example, Patrick has missed 10 buggies in a row and we need him to go to this buggy. Let's say the freshmen are not able to attend this specific buggy, so we make their probability 0. Let's leave the rest of the probabilities equal here. We need 3 pushers, we need at least 1 video and timer, and then we don't need anyone on our bails. For simplicity, and just to show the animations, let's turn off select groups and just see who it selects. We can see Tweety up here in the right corner as our buggy navigator. This is our spinning animation, which maps people to their position and then updates the running lists here at the top. It looks like Patrick is in our list at some point. He was in our guaranteed. Rest should be random. And we also should get no one in our freshman class. We had Among Us, Elsa, Chick, and Elastigirl, and it looks like Tweety, Grinch, Patrick, and Smurfette, and Lisa are in our list, all of which do not fall into our freshman category. Right now, we can either restart the program or we can email out our schedule. Let's save the email part for later and run it a few more times to see what other results we can get. Let's say Patrick is applying to new jobs this weekend and won't have time to make buggies. So we'll add Patrick to exempt. Now we only have groups remaining. Let's make sure our randomizer selects by group when the select by group button is on, so characters of the same color end up being able to go to buggy together. Let's say for this specific buggy, we need 2 pushers, 1 flagger, and we don't need any video and timers this time, but these people are unreliable, so we want 3 backups. We also need 1 person to do bails in the morning. In total here, we have a required amount of 7 people. Let's run it. A quick feature I want to point out while these animations are running is that you can click this finish animation button here, which should stop the animations early. Looks like we're generating both red and green, as we've gotten Shrek, Among Us, Elastigirl, Grinch. All of these fall into either the red or green category. As you can see, our program worked effectively. We only have red and green in these categories. We have Elastigirl, who is red, Among Us, red, Clifford, red. For flaggers, we have Shrek, who's green, Grinch, green, Chick, green. All of the green people get to wake up together. Say the green people, for example, live together, and then the red people get to wake up together, which is a really nice thing, and it was selected completely randomly out of those remaining groups. Now that we've seen the main functionality of selection by groups and selection not by groups, we're going to look at the automated schedule document creation and emailing process that this application enables. To illustrate this in a robust manner, I want to use as many characters as possible to fill positions. For the sake of this, I'm going to take Tweety off of our exemptions list and use him as one of our positions. Pushers are super important, so we might do 7 pushers. We need at least 2 flaggers. Video and timers are for improvement, so we'll add 1 for that. We don't really have much room for backups, so we won't add any backups. As for barricaders, 1 should probably do, and then we'll put the remaining 3 people up for bails. However, just to illustrate that backups will show up on our document, we'll take off 1 for bails and then add 1 backup. Since this is selecting everyone, we can turn the select by groups off. We can make use of the finish animation button. As we can see from our results here, Tweety should be the buggy navigator, but also assigned to a position. We should have 7 pushers, which we do, 1 backup, 1 barricader, 2 people on bales, and 1 video end timer. This worked as expected, so let's get into the actual emailing process behind this application. So let's enter a real date, perhaps for this weekend, which would be the 21st of October of 2023. To put my actual email in there, and then we can check my inbox after. And we send it. After sending it, we get a pop-up that says the email was successfully sent. At this point, we have nothing more to do with our program, so we can either restart it, or we can go up to our top here and just completely close out the program, which quits it safely no matter where you're executing it. Something that I haven't mentioned yet that you might have noticed is this folder called Past. Past is super helpful because it stores all of the documents that it sent over email within the folder, just in case it gets lost somewhere along in the email chain, it goes to spam, it gets deleted, or you just want to look at who was assigned roles and bales for the past few weeks. So 10/20 is the day before, which is Friday, and then roles is the morning of, which is 10/21. So the dates are correct for both of those files, and those should have both be emailed out to my inbox by now. If we take a look at my inbox, we see we got an email from Pica Racing, and attached are 2 docs. Let's take a look at them. We only assigned 2 people to bales, which is pretty unrealistic, but our document simply lists the people who are set up for bales, which is just Shrek and Chick Hicks. As for the roles document, it's much more detailed. It has all of the different sections here from barricaders down to flaggers, the 7 pushers that we assigned. Also notice at the top here that we have our weekday set as Saturday. So something actually really nice about automated schedule doc creation is that it also randomizes the process of assigning people to hills. You'll notice that not only does it assign pushers to hills, but it also distributes it equally. Obviously, you can't equally distribute 7 pushers to 4 hills, but it does its best assigning 2 to hills 1 through 3 and then 1 person to hill 4. Finally, at the end of our doc, we have a general schedule attached. Very helpful because people often forget it as there's a lot going on in a very short amount of time. This sadly concludes the Buggy Randomizer demo. I'm no longer developing this and leaving it to future generations to improve upon the app, but I'm proud to be the person to generate the idea and have established it as such a success within my fraternity, soon to be other fraternities, and hopefully as a Buggy-wide tool down the road.